All right, welcome in everybody. I'm going to give you just a couple minutes to get on screen. And for those of you who are new to this webinar and have not been on here before, I do record these and post these to YouTube. So if you don't want your face on YouTube, don't insert any comments. But I also keep the chat open. So if there's something that you would like to share during the chat or you have a question, I keep that open. So by all means, thanks for joining me today. So it is 1 o'clock. We're going to get started. Let's see. There's somebody I know personally who might be joining today. His name is Brian, and I'm just going to call him out just because I know him well. So Brian, if you're on, thanks for joining. But let's jump in today. So today we're talking about how to build a team that leads itself. And as leaders, we are all really interested in, hey, how can I be more hands-off? How can I just get my team to go and do all the things that they need to do, and I don't have to have my hand involved in this? And hey, I totally get it. I totally understand that. And we're gonna look at that. So let me give you some practical application. I have had some personal experience coaching and leading a team that's here in the West Michigan area. I don't know where everybody's from, but I'm from West Michigan, and I had a client last summer who was doing exactly this. They were trying to lead their team and get their team to lead or get their team to work and do the things they wanted them to do without having to necessarily lead them. And they were struggling. They had it was an owner of a small business, a brick and mortar business. They had, I want to say, 5 to 8 employees. And the owner also worked another part-time job. So the owner was not always on site. They had a manager in place and an assistant manager, and then the employees underneath there. And kind of the cycle is the owner comes in, is involved, is there, and things are going really well. And then the owner's like, hey, I don't need to be here anymore or as much, and then kind of starts to step out of the picture a little bit. So then they just kind of call in, they show up a couple days a week, and they've gone through 2 managers, 2 assistant managers, and things just kind of keep spiraling out of control. So they call me, hey, Todd, can you help us fix this? Absolutely. Let's get in there. Let's do it. So we did. And then I said, but the key to this is your presence. And they said, well, we don't have all the time to do this. We just want our managers to run everything. And I said, so you want to be an absentee owner, basically, is what you want to be, right? Yes. Well, I'm going to give you the ending first. I'm going to put the cookies on the bottom shelf, as I like to say. Here's the caveat to running a team that leads itself. It can't. Now, we can talk about how to structure that, but a team cannot run itself without a leader in place. Now, does that leader need to be you? No, and we'll get into that. But a team has to have leadership. It has to have oversight. So we're going to talk about 2 different kinds of leadership. And the first one is the kind of command and control leadership where everything has to pass through you. Nobody gets $200 without going through you, and everything moves and functions through you as a leader. Now, is it great for you knowing everything about your business or your team? Absolutely. Because then, yeah, everything flows through you. But then you are also kind of the bottleneck to progress and productivity as well. Because if everything has to go through you, then you are sometimes going to be bogged down in the minutia of the everyday tasks. You're going to be bogged down in the trenches and not doing the things that leaders need to do. Now, one of the things that I coach leaders that I'm consulting with is I want you to focus on doing the things that only you as the leader can do. Now, whether you are the business owner, whether you're the manager, whether you're the team lead, whatever position you are in, there are leadership things, activities, verbs that only you can do. And that's why you are the leader. And if you are getting involved in the everyday tasks that everybody else is supposed to be doing, well, then you're not doing the leadership things. So one of the things that I'm working with a client on now is mission and vision. This is a CEO of a company, and they are very involved in the day-to-day operations of the business. And I said, I think you need to back off on that. And the reason being is if you want to grow the company, you're at what I think 36, 37 employees now. If you want to grow the company and grow it to where you're 100 employees, You have to stop being involved in the everyday Slack messages. You have to stop being involved in handling day-to-day items that your team should be handling. You need to focus on mission, vision, and growing the company, whether that's marketing, networking, or whatever it may be. Those are the things that only you as the owner, the CEO, can do. So do those things and delegate the rest out. This person happens to have a great VP in place, great managers in place. And I said, do you really, like, will the business stop functioning if you're not in the day-to-day items? And they said, no, the business will still function. I just won't know as much. And I said, is that a bad thing? Because you have a great VP, you've got great managers in place. They might not do it exactly the way that you want it done, but is it still getting done to a high standard? Yes. Then you need to back off. You need to back off, back out, and focus on only the things that you as a CEO can work on, because the VP can't do that and your managers can't do it. Does that make sense? So command and control is great, but what happens when you no longer have time to command and control and you become the bottleneck? Your over-involvement discourages employee initiative because, well, I'll use myself as an example as the leader. Well, Todd's going to do it. Todd's going to take care of it. Yep, I saw Todd about it. He's going to take care of that. Well, if Todd's doing everything, then what are my direct reports doing or my managers doing? They're checking in with me, and I don't need them checking in with me. If I've trained them to a level that they are reaching high standards, they are doing the work that I don't need to touch. And that's a big thing. So I need to empower my VP, my managers, my direct reports. I need to empower them to do the job. Now, does that take some front end loading and some front end work on my part? Absolutely. I've got to train them to the standard that I want them to be. I need to train them how to do the work that I want them to do and do it the way that I want them to do it. But once that's done, then I can put a training process in place that somebody else can train them to that same standard. I don't necessarily need to be hands-on, boots on the ground, doing that with them every day. I can focus on the leadership, the CEO, the mission, vision, those things. So empowering them to do those things is really important for me. Now, how do you shift from that command control over to the empowerment side? Because as leaders, well, let's be honest, sometimes we are control freaks, right? That's why we're leaders. That's why we're in leadership positions, because we take control and we do the things that we want to do. Great. But sometimes it hampers us. So how do we shift? Well, we set guardrails instead of rules. And I'm going to give you kind of a word picture. I know some of you are listening to this today and not necessarily watching it. But if you have a hard set of rules, there's only one way to do that. But guardrails, if you think about a bowling alley, and when you put, if you go bowling and you're a fabulous bowler like I am, and you're excited to break 100 like I am, sometimes when they put the bumpers up, that really helps my score. Well, think about that. If your company is going down the bowling alley and you have your leaders and your managers below you who are managing things, give them bumpers, give them the guardrails on the side, let them operate where they need to within the bumpers, but give them a little bit of freedom and empowerment to do things the way that they want to do them. Now, are your bumpers the rules on either side of it? Yes, they can't go outside those bumpers, but they have the ability to move and have some flexibility to do things the way that they see fit. That's having guardrails around them. So they're still going in the right direction. They may bump off things and may not do things perfectly the way that you want them done, but hey, you're not doing them. You're able to focus on mission, vision, marketing, sales, whatever it is that your position requires. And are they going to get there clean, smooth, in a straight line? Maybe not, but are they going to get there? Yes. If they bump off things, is that detrimental to the company? Not usually, if we're honest with ourselves, not usually. It's not as clean, but again, we're not touching it. We're freed up to do the things that only we can do as leaders. And that's the key. Another thing is teach decision-making skills, not just the completion of the task. So I like using catchphrases, because catchphrases, if I give you a catchphrase and I use it enough and you get to understand what that means, Then when I use a catchphrase in a couple weeks, you're like, oh yeah, I totally know what Todd's talking about. So teaching them decision-making skills, put the cookies on the bottom shelf, teach them what you want them to know. And then here's my catchphrase, give them the mind of the master. And you're like, well, Todd, I don't understand that. I don't understand what give them the mind of the master is. So here's what I mean. We have all done this. We have all participated in it and we all love it. And here's what it is. Cooking shows. We have all sat down and watched a cooking show before. And what are we doing? We're spending 30 minutes listening to a master chef talk about why they cut the onions the way they cut the onions, why they saute them at the certain temperature that they saute them in, and why they use this oil instead of that oil, and why that brings out the flavor of the meat. And we're all furiously taking notes as we're listening to this master chef. And then they go into the side dishes that they prepare with it. They go into the wine that they pair that meal with, because the certain flavors bring out flavors in the wine. What we are doing is we are getting a good look into the mind of the master. So are we a master chef? Have we spent, decades in chef school and at 5-star Michelin restaurants learning how to cook this dish? Absolutely not. But once we're done watching this 30-minute show, are we going to have a really good idea of how to get really close? Yeah. Yeah, we are, because now we understand the mind of the master. And that's what I mean by teaching decision-making skills. If you are teaching your managers, your VPs, your direct reports, the decision-making skills and process to how you want things done, man, it's a lot more likely that they're going to do it the way that you like it to be done. So share the why with them. That's another big one. Always share the why. If I tell you, hey, we're going to go on a trip, get in the car, and we get in the car and we go. After about 30 minutes, you're going to be like, well, where are we going? Are we there yet? How long is it going to take? I have to go to the bathroom. Can we stop and get some snacks? All these different things. But if I say, hey, we're going to get in the car, we're going to go to the next city over, and it's going to take an hour. But in an hour, we'll be there, and then we're going to go have lunch at this really great restaurant. You're not going to ask me any of the questions that you were just thinking about asking. You're not going to ask me, where are we going? How long is it going to take? Can we stop and get snacks? Well, and maybe you got to go to the bathroom. If you're part of my family, everybody has to go to the bathroom when we're on a road trip. But do you understand what I'm saying? Share the why so people know why you're teaching them the way that you're teaching them. And another big part of that is your mentorship. I have said time and time again, exceptional leadership can be done in bursts of 10 to 15 seconds. And if you are working alongside of someone, or you're just walking through the room, and I know a lot of us are remote, like one of my clients is 100% remote with all their direct reports. My coaching with them is 100% remote. But just touching base with them and say, hey, let's jump on a call for 5 to 10 minutes. And hey, I really like how you're doing this there. That's fantastic. That's exactly the way that I want it done. See how you did it last week and we had that little issue there? Yep. Do you see the difference there? Perfect. Thank you. All right, great. Keep going. You're doing a fantastic job. All right, time out right there. How long did that just take me? 5 to 10 seconds, right? I told them specifically what I saw that I liked that they were doing a good job. I also contrasted that with how we ran into a problem last week and how that had a detrimental effect on the work that we were doing. But then I reiterated that we were doing a good job now and keep moving forward with that process. 10 to 15 seconds. I mentored them. I coached them along. Now I can step back. They've been empowered to go forth and do whatever it is that they need to do. And I can go work on my CEO stuff or my leadership stuff. Let me check the chat here. I just saw something pop up in the chat. And if you hire people who align with mission, vision, and values, the bumpers won't be needed as much because they are all aligned. Excellent. Thank you, Rebecca, for that comment. Absolutely. Hiring well. That's another thing that I love to talk about. If you hire well the first time around, man, you don't have to fire fast. Hire well, and then you don't have to fire fast. Yes. I work with, my wife gets a lot of coaching from me for free, and she is involved in hiring. So we're going to take this caveat, Rebecca. You just brought something to mind. Thank you for that. And they will hire somebody with less skill if they align with the mission and vision more. That's what they're looking for because they can teach the skill, right? And I think we're all in positions where, man, I'd rather teach you to do it my way than have to reteach you the same skill that you might have learned someplace else. So, yes, if they have the right mindset, the mission and vision oriented mindset that already aligns with your company and your values, man, I will take a week to teach you skills. Absolutely, because I want you to do it my way anyways. But yes, I agree with you. Thank you for that, Rebecca. Now, let's get into my caveat, my cookies on the bottom shelf for you. The caveat is you must still be present and monitor and verify, or have somebody who can do that for you. So, case in point, this company that I was talking about that I work with, the CEO that I've asked to kind of step back, and focus on mission, vision, marketing, planning, growth minded things. She can do that because she's got a great VP in place. And the VP can then wade into the daily tasks, the daily Slack messages, emails, video calls, that sort of thing, because that's what she's there for. So the CEO has somebody who can do that. Step back and let the VP take it. Now, autonomy without direction often leads to confusion. So does the CEO still need to meet with the VP? Yes, but that's one meeting. That's not 3 meetings every day. That's 1 meeting a day with your right-hand person who is constantly by your side, who has your mission, who has your vision, who understands your why, and knows the direction of the company. It's really, you've multiplied yourself. So as leaders, can we multiply ourselves so that we don't have to touch everything? I guess that's a question for you. Are you in a position where you have multiplied yourself in your leadership role so that you don't have to touch everything, that somebody else can touch those things for you? So take a little self-reflection and think about that. And then also, regular feedback ensures alignment without micromanagement. Everybody hates a micromanager, and we've all been there. We've all been micromanaged. I've been micromanaged. I think early on in my leadership career, I think I probably was a micromanager at one point. Nobody likes that. We all hate that. It's horrible to work in that type of environment. But if you give regular feedback, and this is something that I preach this a lot, if you can have regular feedback meetings with your direct reports, or at least the people who need to hear feedback from you, man, that creates such a loop of, hey, this is going good. This isn't going good. Let's fix this. Keep doing the good things well, and let's revisit this next week. If you can get into a climate and culture situation within your company, your business, your organization, where you are constantly giving feedback, receiving feedback, because feedback needs to be upward and downward. Yes, I said that. Feedback needs to be upward and downward. It's not just the leaders giving feedback down to their underlings. Sometimes underlings, since they're in the trenches doing the work, have really good feedback for us as well. And we as leaders have to be able to get past our own egos to accept that. So if you have regular feedback meetings, if you make that part of your climate and culture, oh my goodness, I've been part of this before. I've been part of both. And the climate and culture where there is regular feedback going on a consistent basis is such a better place to work. It is such a better place to follow. It is such a better place to lead from, because then everybody has that hierarchical mindset where, yes, I'll use myself as an example. Todd is leading us. Todd gives us regular feedback. Todd gives us adjusting feedback on things that aren't necessarily going well, but he's not doing it because he's mad. He's doing it so that he can grow us, so that we could be better, so that we can grow the company, grow the business, and all just grow together. If that's the mindset that you instill into your people, then you can walk down the hallway and say, hey, how'd that thing go yesterday that we were talking about? Good? Excellent. Oh, it didn't go good? Let's talk about it. What needs to go better? Okay, yep. Why don't you go talk to Jimmy over there and Sally over there? They can give you some advice on how to make those improvements. And then let's check back next week and see how it's going. Again, what was that? 10 seconds? 15 seconds maybe? I just provided mentorship, feedback, and consistency in a 15-second conversation while walking down the hallway. Now, as leaders, is that tiring? Sure. Does it make for great leadership? Absolutely. Does it make my company, my business, my organization grow and grow in a healthy way? Absolutely. So, I'm going to divert just for a second here. Those of you who are watching this or listening, think about pets. Do any of you have four-legged furry kids at home? Either cats, specifically, I'm thinking about dogs right now. And I used to be afraid of dogs because I was chased by dogs. I had a dog try to attack me. I narrowly escaped. And so for a lot of my growing up years, I was afraid of dogs. And dogs could sense that on me. And yeah, so in my adulthood, I was like, man, I got to get over this. And so I found Cesar Millan. Cesar Millan, if you're watching, this one's for you. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Cesar Millan is the dog trainer to the stars. He's had shows on National Geographic, lots of different networks. And he is, if you ever watch Cesar Millan work, it is almost like magic. He has a way with dogs that he could communicate. He understands the way that they think. And he always says, I don't train dogs, I train people because the dogs react to the people. So that's kind of the way that I think about my leadership as well. Not that you guys are dogs. But what he says is you are never not training your dog. Here's an example. If you train your dog that if they want a treat, that they must come to your feet and sit before they get the treat, and you are consistent with that, then anytime you put a treat in your hand, they see it, they're going to walk up to you, look up, sit down, and wait for the treat, right? Yes, that is exactly how it works. I've done it before. But if you have the treat in your hand, they come up and they sit, and then you give them the treat, and then the next day you have the treat in your hand and you just toss it to them, well, then what does that dog think? Well, the dog doesn't know how to get a treat now, because you've done it two different ways and you're inconsistent. So same thing goes with your direct reports and the people in your businesses, organizations, and company. You are never not mentoring. You are never not training them. Every time you are having a conversation with them, you are always talking about, hey, did this go well? Do you need any help? Is there any support that I can give you? Let's follow up on that because we need to talk about that. Now, are there certain times like when you go into the break room and there's pizza and Coke on the table? Yes, sit down, talk about the baseball game, talk about, how Sally's daughter is doing in college. Yes, you need to have those times. But professionally, you should always be training and talking about moving forward with your company. So I put the cookies on the bottom shelf for you. There's no way that you're going to be able to lead a team that leads itself 100%. They are always going to need a leader. I use examples from the military because I like to read military history, and I like to read about Navy SEALs and special forces, and all of our elite operators in the U.S. military and around the world. They operate almost 100% on their own. But even within the highest level of teams, there is always still one leader, at least one leader. Now, they may be dropping behind enemy lines and rescuing somebody, but there is still somebody on that team who is in charge and is providing leadership. And these are some of the most elite leaders in the world. Even they still have some sort of leadership. So that is the caveat to how to build a team that leads itself. If you're not going to do it, put somebody in place who can do it for you. Man, we have talked about a lot today, and we've been going on. I don't see anything else in the chat. If you have something you would like to bring up or discuss or have a question, feel free, raise your hand. You can do that either by hitting the react heart at the bottom of your screen. You can hover over that heart, and then you can raise your hand. Or if you want to put something in the chat, feel free. I would love to just talk about something that maybe you have going on or something that is going on in your life. And maybe we can help you as a group or just me talk about some situations that you have. So if you have anything, go ahead, put it in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself and raise your hand, we can talk about it. Yes, don't forget, these are going on YouTube. So if you don't want that on YouTube, that's fine as well. I completely understand that. Wait just a second here. Okay, I don't see anything coming in the chat. I don't see anybody raising their hand. Let me click through. Let me make sure everybody's there. All right. Well, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me today. We do this. Yeah, it's me. I do this every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So I have your emails. I will send out an email. I send out the new topic for the week on Monday mornings. So be watching for that. Thank you for the comment, Rebecca. I appreciate that. And these are free. You can just sign up. Also, if you have found this helpful, I also have a mastermind that is a membership mastermind. It's $297 a month, where we get together. We do this exact same thing, but it's not just me talking all the time. It is you like, hey, here's my problem, Todd. This is what I'm dealing with. I don't know how to handle it. And we talk about that. So feel free to reach out to me about the mastermind, or also private coaching and consulting. I do that as well, as I do with several other companies right now. So reach out to me. You've got my email. You can reach out to me on social media as well. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for the comments, everybody who's putting those in the chat. I appreciate it. Have a fantastic weekend. I hope you find something that you can do that you enjoy. Erica, I saw that comment. This is great. I would love to be the bad guy in that meeting. Absolutely. Let me take the bullets for you. But yes, thank you for joining me today. Have a fantastic weekend. Find something to do that you enjoy, and we will see you here next week. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.